Hey, Voyage Church, Pastor Jeff here. It's Wednesday, the 23rd of June. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is that you are watching this video. Just know that I had full intentions of recording this video earlier this morning. Things didn't work out that well today as I did not sleep good last night and was forced to sleep in a little longer than I wanted to. But nevertheless, I've had my coffee and things are good. Things get a little noisy around here. There is some vacuuming going on here at the church. There's also some lawns. The lawn is being mowed as well, so things are a bit noisy right now, so forgive me for that. But let me just start out today by just reminding you of a couple things. Number one, on Sunday we finished our latest teaching series called B-Sides. If you were not with us last Sunday, just let me encourage you to check out the website, visit voyage.org, and you'll be able to hear the message that Pastor Jody shared about those two women, those two midwives, and what it means to live by the fear of the Lord. So if you missed that, get on over there and have yourself a listen. Secondly, let me remind you of the book that we'll be reading together this summer. It's a book by the highly acclaimed author John Grisham. If you've never read John Grisham before, you know that he is, if you've read him before, you know that he is a prolific writer, written many books. I read his first book years ago, probably 30 years ago, when I read his book called The Firm, and then went back and read his first book, A Time to Kill, and since then have read not all of his books, but many of them. And the latest one, or one of his recent ones, is called Guardians. I think it's a year or two old. It's dealing with a topic that's, I think, a really important topic for us to engage, and that is social justice. So grab a copy and get reading. You can find the mass market paperback edition of the book at Walmart or Meijer or pretty much anywhere else where you buy books. I bought my copy on Amazon for $7, so it's not that expensive. Even better, it's a really good read so far. I'm not done with it yet, but just kind of moving through it, but it's a fast read. And so we'll read it here in June and July, and then we'll get together for a discussion in August, and I can't wait. And I pray that even some of you non-readers will give this book a try. Thirdly, let me just remind you of a couple of major needs. One, we need some additional support on our sound and tech team here at the church. If you can help, please let me know, and I'll pass your information on to Adam, who will be in contact with you about that. We're running pretty thin right now with help, and we could use some extra folks. And the sound, the tech, the audio-visual stuff isn't rocket science per se, but it is complicated in some sense, and so you will need to have a level of computer knowledge to be part of this team. So please, if you are interested, let me know, and then I will get you into contact with Adam. Secondly, we need some help inside the church, and we need to finish painting the rest of our walls here in the sanctuary. We've hired a person to help us pick out the colors. The colors are ready to go. We know exactly what colors will be on the walls, so please, if you want to help with that project, we'd like to get that moving and finished here in the next 2 to 3 weeks, within the next month or so. So having said all this, let me ask you then just to stay with me for a couple more minutes on a couple other things I want to mention. Like many of you, over these last few weeks and months, it's been, right? I've had a bit more time on my hands than I normally would. I'm not driving to pick up kids from school. I'm not driving as much, even here to church. I'm working from home more often than not. And so I've got a little bit more time. And so what I've found myself doing is doing the kinds of things that I wouldn't have done normally, and things I haven't done in a long time, perhaps. Now, most of you know that I like to read. And so one of the things I have been doing more often than I have in a while is actually reading books. Now, again, you know I like to read already, and as part of my graduate studies at Wesley Seminary and Indiana Wesleyan University, I have plenty of books that are required reading for me. But when I say that I've been reading more, I'm not talking about those kind of books, the books that are required, or else. And just so you know, in preparation for every sermon I preach, I read a lot. I really do. I study not only whole books, but I read commentaries that help explain the passage if it's a bit difficult. I read other helpful articles, other sermons that will help me share the message in the most helpful way. But again, I'm not talking about those kind of books or that sort of reading either. When I say I've been reading a lot more than usual, I'm talking about the kind of books I want to read. I want to read. They seem interesting to me, or they're engaging to me, or maybe they're just purely entertaining. They take me to a historical period that I've never read about before. They take me to a place I've never been to. They help me to step into a world of a person I'm not all that familiar with. Or even better, they take me to a fictional world where I can escape, if even for a few minutes. So when it comes to the kind of books that I want to read, the possibilities are endless. I mean, truth be told, I'll never be able to read all the books I want to read. That's for sure. However, what's important for me and my soul is that I'm taking the time to do this sort of reading, regardless of how much I read or how fast I read it. I'm actually taking the time to do it. Now, some of you may already be doing the very same things. You're already an avid reader, and you're always reading something that you want to read. If so, that's great. But if you're not a reader, let me encourage you to find something else that you want to do and start doing it. Maybe it's playing more golf with the extra time you have, or maybe it's picking up another hobby that will breathe life into your soul. Others of us might want to be outside working in or tending our gardens more than we have been. Now, while I'm inside reading what I want to read, I can guarantee you my wife is probably outside in the garden doing what she wants to do. So what is it that you want to do more of? Whatever it might be, let me just encourage you to take some time this week to invest in yourself. You've probably been investing in those around you or your kids, in other chores that need to get done, and other things that need to happen around your house or in your world. But have you taken the time to invest in yourself? Again, maybe it's just going for a walk or a hobby that you have always talked about picking up but haven't. Maybe it's a new board game that you and your family can buy and learn to play together. And maybe it is that really good book that you can't wait to get your hands on. What is it that you want to do more of? The Bible is clear. We need to take a break from work, from life as we know it, and we need to rest our weary bodies and our tired souls. God's word reminds us of this. It says, you have 6 days, God says, you have 6 days each week for the ordinary work, but the seventh day you must stop working. Why are we supposed to stop working on the seventh day? Well, in the Old Testament world, it was partially so that your ox and your donkey could get a much-needed break. Well, most of us don't have oxes and donkeys that need a break, but we need a break. We need a day off, a day to ourselves, a time when we can do the kinds of things that refresh and restore us in ways like nothing else can. So, will you do yourself a favor this week and find 1 or 2 things that will help you do just that? I'll probably find something that I want to read, but what will you be doing? Think about that this week, and better yet, don't just think about it. Start doing it. Invest in yourself. Have a blessed Wednesday. We'll see you again on Friday. God bless.